Hi everybody, this is the Cosmic Reader here, and today we're gonna go back into the pages of the Action Bible. So last time, we talked about the story of how the first humans ruined everything for everybody else in the history of humanity. So now we go ahead and follow the story about their kids, which is a story on how jealousy can make you do stupid things. You see, at the time before Jesus' birth, it used to be that all of God's people had to send God an offering, just to give thanks or to ask God for forgiveness. So that's what Cain and Abel set themselves up to do. Now Abel used a lamb, the firstborn of his flock, for his sacrifice. Abel set his slain lamb on fire in order to commit the sacrifice. He gave thanks and praise to God, and everything's all good. Cain, on the other hand, used fruit for his sacrifice. God was not really feeling that sacrifice. He didn't really appreciate it as much as he appreciated Abel's sacrifice. But the fruit wasn't the problem, though. The problem, though, was more of Cain's attitude. It wasn't really that great. He probably treated it like a chore. He didn't perform the sacrifice in a loving and praising manner. Cain took notice on God appreciating Abel's efforts more, and he grew very jealous. But God gave Cain words of wisdom, that his heart needs to be in the right place when it comes to God's calling, that he needs to go by faith whenever it comes to doing what God calls you to do. Once you have your mind set on that instead of sin, then you would be rewarded. Cain was not hearing that, though. All he could think of is murder on his mind. Cain, being the good brother that he is, decides that he wants to give Abel a one-way ticket to heaven. So Cain went up to his brother, who you could see is just minding his own business and enjoying his day. And then, well, he just starts beating him to death. He also probably got rid of the body because he was stupid enough to think that God wouldn't notice. But of course, he did. God proceeds to ask Cain the question, "Hey Cain, where's your brother?" And Cain, being an idiot, said something like this: "I don't know. I'm not his babysitter. Aren't you God? Aren't you supposed to know where everybody's at?" And we all know that Cain immediately regretted his words right after, because after he said all of that, and for the crime of murdering his own brother, God made sure that no crops would ever grow for Cain ever again. God also banished Cain from his own home, so that he could walk the earth for the rest of his life, knowing what he'd done. By the way, I do like the image here of like Cain's worried face, being like, oh gosh, he knows. Cain was obviously pretty scared. He even gone on and said that this punishment seems too great for him to bear. Oh yeah, he says that, but I guess murder was not too great for Abel to bear at all. Yeah, sure, Cain. He was also worried for his life now that he has to walk the earth for the rest of his life. He doesn't want to go out there and worry for his life like he's some sort of fugitive. But God did have a plan for that. So God gave him a mark to symbolize that no one can kill him. No one can strike at him, and the only thing that's going to kill him is just natural causes. And despite Cain bearing such punishment, he did eventually found someone to marry and have kids with. And he also built a city and named it after his firstborn son, Enoch. So God was merciful enough to give him a good life. It goes to show you guys that God is a God of mercy, and he will even show mercy through the punishment that he would give somebody. It goes to show everybody who question God when they read the Old Testament that he was not a cruel God. Because I always hear these comparisons between the New Testament and Old Testament, that God seems more crueler in the Old Testament. But like I just explained to you here, God was as merciful back then as he is in the New Testament. He even was good enough to grant Adam and Eve another son after they lost both their sons. God is good all the time, guys. Even through his wrath, he's good. And if you want an example of God's wrath in the New Testament, since everybody claims he's nicer in the New Testament, then stick around because, oh boy, I cannot wait to read you guys Revelation. And also, I cannot wait for you guys to know about the greatest crash out of all time from Jesus. So, that's all I have for you guys today. Now on YouTube, subscribe to the Cosmic Reader and hit the notification bell so that you can be notified for whenever I upload my next video. Also, hit the like button, the hype button, and share with your friends so that it would help me know that you guys appreciate these videos. Also, follow my Instagram page, which you could also like and hit the share button on Instagram. With all that being said, this has been the Cosmic Reader, and I'll see you in the cosmos.